Okay, I'm back. Welcome to Girl Talk. I'm Kareen Wong, your host. Our new podcast series focused on relationships, whether that's at work, at home, or in your own personal life. Today, I have an exciting, juicy topic. We are going to dive into personal relationships. That's right, I'm going there. If you are single or newly divorced, or you're in a place in your life where you're ready to settle down or find a partner for life, tune in. This episode is all for you. I am not an expert relationship guru. I don't have a PhD in matchmaking, if you will. I don't. But what I do have is a lot of experience in dating. Before I got married, after I got married, yep. When I was growing up, I had a tiger mom. My mom said this to me. She goes, Kareen, you cannot date until you're 30. So what do? I date till I'm 30. She didn't know that, of course. But my whole point was when you have a long history of dating, I'm not really proud of that because I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't dating smartly. I was dating haphazardly, meeting up with people, saying yes to almost every invitation to a coffee, to dinner, to movies. I mean, it was fun. I was younger, of course, and that seemed to be a thing to do. But if I was looking for someone more serious to consider marriage, I don't think I would be doing that. That's just simply a waste of time. So if you are interested in casual dating, this is not for you. This episode features a lot of tips that are focusing on how to date seriously or how to date smarter. I'm not trying to encourage you to date like I did, and that is dating everyone and anyone. I'm talking about dating people that are most likely to line up with your goals, your values, your beliefs, and ultimately lead to less conflicts, less problems in the future. That is the goal. So we start from square one, find the right partner for you. All right. So you're at a point now where you want to find someone serious in your life. You're thinking about marriage or having an exclusive relationship where it could lead to a marriage later on. Great. Then this is the episode for you. I always pop in 3 great tips that will help guide the way you date. Okay. So the first tip is where do you meet them? Now, I am not recommending the online apps like Match.com or Harmony or Tinder. Yeah, those are great apps in terms of you can meet people easier and you might have some commonalities. That's okay. But I think for the most part, it's more for casual dating. They tout that they are intended to find partners for life on their website. But the people who go on there, the people who put their profile on there and meet it with other people, sometimes their intention is not sincere and they may only intend to have for lack of a better term, a one-night stand or have just a physical relationship versus a long-term intimate one. So with that being said, try to avoid apps. The best way to meet someone that is worth your time is through your family and friends. Even coworkers are okay. I don't mean date your coworkers. I mean, like, if your coworker who is your friend knows a friend that might have commonality with you, then consider that person. So again, the first tip is to meet potential dates through your family, friends, referrals. If you don't know the person referring to you, I would not date that person. So you really got to know the person that is referring you, such as, like I said, your closer friends, your closer work colleagues. If your customer at work tells you, oh, I've got a son that is good for you, probably not the best way to go. Even though it's a customer, someone you know, I would not date their son. So date someone that you know is within your inner circle of friends and family. That is job one. Don't do dating apps. And if you do dating apps, keep in mind that not everyone who's on that platform will have the same sincere interest in creating a long-term relationship. from my research, i.e., friends and family who've been on Tinder and on Match, the outcome has not been great. I would say 8 out of 10 times the relationship has ended on one night stands. One person will end up with a long-term relationship, like a marriage, and the other person will have a somewhat long relationship, but did not end in marriage. So it's a crapshoot, basically. So 1 out of 10 relationships will end up in marriage with those match dating sites. So that is my tip 1. Tip 2, if you do or decide to take on a date with that person that was referred to you by your sister, brother, college roommate, whatever, the very first thing you should do is to check on their background. That's right. Yes. Be the private investigator that you are. Okay. If you want to seriously date someone with the intention of making this a long-term relationship, just do one thing. Click on Facebook or Instagram, even YouTube, and search out their name. Find out as much as you can on them. If it's available, if it's public, if they have an account, you'll see it. And you get to see some of their hobbies or likes, or if they're a radical or not, or if they're really into like guns, or if they're I don't know, like part of the LGBTQ association. Those are just examples of what you can easily find by simply turning on your computer or your phone and going, whoa, the dude that I want to date or is having a date next week is, part of the NRA association, and I'm not down with that. Okay. Now, I'm not saying the NRA is bad. I'm just saying that may not be part of your values. Maybe you're against guns, for example. Okay. So our second tip is to simply check on their background. Google their name. If they have LinkedIn profile, Facebook, social media, check on it. It's easy and it's free and it's so simple. My pet peeve about all this is that I look at my colleagues who are well-established pharmacists, such as myself, who spent so many years going to school, even physicians. Physicians, they can be single too, and they spend 10 years in school. They have a lot at stake because they make a lot of money. They have a lot of assets. They have a company or a clinic that they're in charge of. And then when it comes to meeting a woman or a man to be there for dating, for example, they don't care as much. They just go, okay, we'll go on a date, and they have a good time. And next thing you know, they're engaged, and next thing you know, they're married. And the person barely knows the other person. I mean, that's pretty scary when you think about it, right? So I think that if you're going to go to school for 10 years, right, and go to law school for 4 years and commit so much time and energy into your studies to make, I don't know, 6 figures, right? Why would you not take an extra step in looking up the person that you may want to spend the next hour with, let alone the whole lifetime with, right? It's just so easy. Just click on it and find out a little more about the person that you're going to be having dinner with or sharing an evening with. It's not that hard. And what kills me is that it's free. It's so easy. Anyone can do it. A kid can do it. So why not do it, right? So that is our tip number 2, is go one extra step and look up that person's information on social media. Now, you may be thinking, well, Corrine, I could do that, but what's the big if I don't? I mean, it's an evening. Well, here's the thing. If you're a professional, you're working all the time, even an hour out of your day is not easy. That's your hour. That's your me time. I'm not advocating to date haphazardly and spend all your weekends out dating random people you barely know, people you don't even know their last name. Okay. Don't do that. That's a waste of your time, their time, expenses. I mean, come on. And it's exhausting. Can you imagine? I mean, I dated for 12 years, and every conversation that we had in our date was, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Good. Tell me about your family life. Okay. Tell me about your college life. Okay. I mean, my goodness, it was like a job. Every Friday night, I had a new guy that I was dating. I didn't go very far because I didn't know what I was dating for. Like I didn't know who I was looking for, basically. But that's just me. Okay. So my point being is that don't make dating like a job. Make it an event. So if you're going to date tonight and it's Friday, make sure that the person you're with or going to be with at least has similar values as you, or they don't have anything that's a little off about them based on their social media. Now, one thing I mentioned about things that are off is when you're dating seriously, that means that you are intending to have a long-term relationship with that person. Okay. And I bet if I were to ask you, hey, Kathy, you want to go date, meet the man of your future. What are you looking for? And I'll bet you Kathy will have a list of criterion and deal breakers. Okay. Deal breakers are characteristics about the person they cannot deal with. Like if you haven't, I don't want no part of you at all. So when you're seriously dating someone, you should have that criterion created in your brain already. So when you go on social media and find that person and you go, oh my gosh, they're part of the NHRA, or they are a Democrat or Republican, whatever you see, and it doesn't jive with your beliefs, it's a deal breaker for you, then just say, you know what, buddy, I can't see tonight. I don't think it's going to work out. Click. Great way to end the conversation. And I think on some level he'll appreciate it too, especially when it comes to politics or beliefs, religion, for example. So going back to the social media, before you even search them out, make sure you have a list in your brain about what you're looking for. Kathy, what are you looking for? Now, she's seriously looking for someone. So she said to me, well, I'm looking for someone who's, funny, and can make at least, 6 figures. And he's independent. He has no mental issues, and he's not a mama's boy, but he has a close relationship with his family. So you can tell that Kathy's list of standards, it's very specific because she is seriously looking for someone, and not everyone can fit that bill. That's a pretty tight list, but I'm proud of her because she knows exactly what she wants in her man. If you're casually dating, trust me, you don't do any of this stuff. If you're casually dating, the same girl, Kathy, would be much younger. And I would ask Kathy, what are you looking for? And she would say, I don't know, someone good looking, someone kind of funny, nice. And that's it. That's it. I mean, that is every single girl's criterion for when they're first starting to date. So that's casual dating. It's very broad based. It's nothing specific. It could be Republican, Democrat, Muslim, radical, whatever. They don't care. As long as you're nice and you're handsome and you're funny, I'll date you. So that is casual dating. So you see how different it is? Casual dating has less criterion, less standards, or fewer standards, and serious dating is more specific. There's more standards and there's more deal breakers. So everyone has their own deal breakers. For me, when I was dating for my future man, I was looking for someone who was not a mama's boy. I was looking for non-smokers. I was looking for Democrats. I think it's changed over time now, but anyways, so political parties, religion, and whether or not they were smoke or not. If they drank alcohol, I had to be specific about how many drinks they had per night. My farmer says I'm pretty nerdy about that. So yeah, so that was my criteria. It was very it was a long list. And even though I had a lot of guys ask me out on dates, I did not say yes to everyone because now I was seriously dating. And even though they were handsome and they're funny and friendly, you smoke, you don't vote, you're way too close to your mom. I mean, so for all those reasons, I did not take up on their dinner dates. No matter how fancy the restaurant was, I did not go. So that was me seriously dating. Okay, dating with a purpose. Okay, that is what it is. Now, tip 2, part B. Okay, this is like a subset. For those people who want more information but can't get it from social media because maybe they have private accounts or they don't even have accounts, what can you do? This is especially important if you make a lot of money, if you or have own a huge company. There's a lot at stake and you don't know the person that you're going to be with tonight. Then I would recommend, I know it's kind of weird, to hire a private investigator. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, what, Kareem? Oh, my friends will think I'm absolutely neurotic. And I'm telling you, no, it's not. And here's the reason why. Public investigators charge about $100, maybe $150 for a report of the person that you are searching. All you have to do is provide the name, first and last name, date of birth, maybe a phone number. So these are some at least couple of identifiers for that person. PIs are usually former police agents or detectives, and they have the ability, they know how to access public records. So everything that they're pulling for you is all public records. That's why it's amazing. It's not sneaky. It's not, insidious. It's actually very smart to do. All they're doing is just going to the courthouse, going online to DOJ and pulling up any criminal records, arrest records, credit records, FICO score, everything that you could do on your own had you had time to do it. But we don't have the time. They do. So you pay them $100 and they give you the report in like 3 days. They usually just email to you. And there you have it, all in black and white, the past 10 years, where they lived, people who have been affiliated with them, if they have any criminal records with them, and the person that you want to potentially date. So you get to see all of that there in black and white. And so when you look at that, and if they have a record, you can decide then and there before your date starts if you want to continue even seeing them or if you even want to see them at all. So don't think I'm crazy. It is not extreme. It's smart. It's smart to do. There's a story here. A few years ago, I did set up my girlfriend with a guy, and he's a physician. All right. He's a good physician, good Chinese physician. He looks great on paper in terms of he was single, he was the right age, he had similar religion as my friend, and I've known him for about 3 or 4 years. And he's a physician. And I think I just checked it up. Well, he's a physician. How bad could it be? He's a good guy. And his friends, his colleagues spoke very highly of him. So I didn't see anything wrong with this. I asked if they would like to meet each other, and they did. They met on a blind date, and they hit it off. They fell in love. They were so enamored with each other. In 3 months, they had to declare their love for each other. I mean, that was amazing. I was like, oh my God. That was so cool to be part of that relationship that I put them together. But then things took a turn for the worse. By month 4, she was calling me and crying about how he would get upset and yelling in the restaurant. I mean, causing a scene at the restaurant, storming out, yelling at her, calling her a slut. I mean, it's like watching a Lifetime movie. You're like, oh my God, this is, are you serious? Oh yes. I don't know why he's reacting that way, but he found out about the fact that I am not a virgin, the fact that I had other boyfriends, and he flipped out. I'm like, dude, you're 45, okay? Like, you are not a virgin, okay? You were engaged at one point, so I'm not sure why he would think that you're pure like the Virgin Mary. Well, he had very high standards. And of course, he's not a virgin, right? So it wasn't like I am, and therefore you must be. He was just very hypocritical. Anyways, this continued for the next 2 or 3 months. And eventually she ghosted on me. And I became very concerned about her. She became worried that she might have been abducted or kidnapped or, being abused in her own home. Because he had moved into her home. He had no home. He moved in with her. Anyways, so I decided to hire a PI. I decided to figure out myself what kind of guy he was. And the PI, who was based in Orange County, sent me the file to me about 3 days later. It was very fast and quick, so nothing like it took long. From what I understand, it's like $150 for a file, and if you want him to stake out the dude at his house for 4 hours time, it's up to $500. So if you want to stake out the residence, that's more money. But I didn't need that. I don't need to him stake out anyone. So for $150, I got the report, and whoa, black and white, there it was. A criminal record. He was bankrupt at one point. He lots of stuff. It was a very thick file. I won't go into details, but let's just say it was not good because none of them were felonies. He did not get his medical license revoked. So that's why that's the thing about medicine. If it's not a felony, the medical association does not revoke your license as long as it's like not a felony. So if it's a misdemeanor, no big deal. So some of the things he did was considered misdemeanor, or he was arrested, but no charges were filed. One of the charges was driving with a concealed weapon that was illegally obtained. Oh my God. And it was loaded. It was loaded. That was even worse. So he had no concealed weapon permit. It was not registered. It was loaded, and it was in the passenger front seat. So it wasn't like the police officer pulled him over for speeding or something like that. Pulled him over. And when the dude rolled down his windows, policeman just peered in and saw in the right-hand side the gun on the seat. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So he was arrested at that point. I don't know what happened afterwards, but he denied everything. We approached him and he denied everything. And my friend was upset that I had did this, but I was trying to show to her that this guy, even though I may have set her up, was probably a mistake. He wasn't a cool guy after all. Because of the reports and the continued fights they had about her virginity, she ended up dumping him. They left on really bad terms. She's happier now. So fast forward 2 years, she's happier. She's content. But that's one thing I learned. So I kind of wish I went back in time and did that PI report when I first hooked them up. But back then, and I was a lot younger, he looked good on paper, on paper meaning my paper. He was a doctor, he was Chinese, he was Christian, he was from San Francisco. He didn't strike out as me as someone that would drive around with a concealed weapon. Didn't appear to me he would break the law because he's a doctor. But come on, doctors are human. They make mistakes. They can do criminal behavior. They're not God. They're not saints. So that was my naiveness coming out. So I should have known better than to rely on the word of the work colleagues who only know him from work. So that's one thing I learned, is to order a PI report just for the safety's sake. And if obviously there's nothing to report, then great. Nothing to report, then go on that date. Have a great time and go knowing that you did everything right. You looked on social media, you looked on Google, you looked up LinkedIn, and you hired a PI. If you did all of that and you found nothing that strikes out as red flags, then perhaps it's time for you to get ready and have a great time on your date with this guy that may be the one for you. All right. Tip number 3. Okay. So what is Korean going to tell me now that I don't know already? Well, I bet you didn't know this one. Get to know their friends and their family. The friends is the most important part. The family, not so much. And here's the reason why. They always say that friends are a mirror reflection of the person you're dating. And it's true. It's true. Like if you're going to, let's say, a party or bar with your dude and 5 other friends, 5 of his friends are not going to be identical. They're going to have to be different, but they're going to have part of themselves will be a reflection of your dude. So if you get together with those guys and sit down, talk to them, you can kind of piece together what your dude is really like. I would start out asking questions like how long you know each other. So the longer they know each other, the better. Get to know that person. Ask the person if you have any funny stories you want to share about your dude and him. So sharing stories. What's the funniest thing you guys ever did together? What's the silliest thing? What's the most memorable thing about your dude that you can remember? Ask them questions, open-ended questions, and that will help you decide if you want to be with this dude or your guy or girl. Okay. Friends, after a while, they will tell you the truth. In the beginning, they always go, "Oh, yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah, Tom's a nice guy. You should date him. He's a good guy." Yeah. That's very broad based, doesn't tell you anything. Everyone's a nice guy. But if they tell you, "Oh, yeah, Tom's a good guy. Yeah, got a little temper though, so watch out." Eventually they keep talking, things will slip out, they'll come out, and they tell you like it is. Like, yeah, he's got a little drinking problem. He drinks like three, shots of whiskey a night. But that's no, everyone does that, right? Maybe, but not in your world, right? So you gotta listen to all these stories and go, do I want to date an alcoholic? Do I want to date a binge drinker? Probably not. If it's not your jam, don't do it. So befriend the friends, get to know them. Even if it's a girl, like a girlfriend, like a friend that's a girl, yeah, get to know them too. They always start out with saying, "Oh, Tom's a great guy. You'll love him." Okay, how do you know him? "Oh, yeah, we used to date." Great. So now you're friends? Uh-huh, sure. Well, you want to find out how friendly that is. Are you guys bed buddies still? Are you guys still see each other? Are you engaged to someone else? You want to find out what relationship do they have now? Okay. By the way, it's pretty hard for a guy and a girl to have a friendly platonic relationship. It's very hard. So you probably want to dive a little deeper and go, okay, so you're the ex-girlfriend, you're still friends with my dude, Tom. How how long have you known him? And any funny stories you want to share? And are you seeing someone else right now? So that gives you an idea of like, what the relationship is about now. Are they platonic or are they still seeing each other? Or are they still romantically linked? Or are they still just casual bed buddies? Okay. So if it's not your GM, if you don't feel comfortable in that environment with an ex-girlfriend, that circle of friends, you best move on. Okay. So meet your friends, get to know them. I mentioned family in the beginning, and honestly, families, they protect their own. Okay. I mean that in the best way possible. They're not going to say anything bad about Tom, right? They're not going to go, mom's going to go, "Oh, yeah, he's like a mama's boy. I can't stand it." She's not going to say that. She's just going to say, "Oh, Tom is the sweetest boy ever. I love him. You best take care of him." Okay. Yeah, they will always think very highly of their own family member, their own son or brother. So it's very hard to get any truth out of them, at least anything valuable for you. So that's why I don't spend too much time with the family. Spend more time with the friends. If there's coworkers, again, that's okay. If they're close coworkers, ask them the same questions, open-ended questions, stories. Tell me, what's it like working with him? Is he annoying? Is he always late to work? Make it more whimsical, make it more playful, but listen with your ears and find out, what kind of guy is he like? Is he professional or is he rude? Going back to my earlier example of the physician with the gun, my friend went to his office and she told me that they did not like him at all. Apparently, he has been job jumping. And he'd always come home and complain, like, "Oh, these guys are just jealous of me. I'm just so good of a doctor. They're just so jealous of what I can do. And that's why they don't like me around." Okay, crazy. Like, because it happened every single clinic he went to. Every single clinic he went to, he had the same story. "Everybody hates me. Everybody's all jelly because I'm so good and so awesome and blah, blah, blah." Oh, okay. Like, maybe, but if it's happening to several clinics and a lot of colleagues don't have a fond memory of you or invite you out for work activities, like work events, like, going to the bar after work, that's a sign you're not well liked by the people who work with you, who spend 8 hours with you. So the people that spend 8 hours with you in a clinic don't like you. How are you going to spend a lifetime with this dude? Right? You can't. It's obvious. So when she looks back at the relationship, she always goes, "Oh, Green, that was such a red flag." Yeah, guy did not get along well with his coworkers. Not just one, but all of them. In fact, they tried to not renew his contract with the clinic. So that was kind of their way of saying, yeah, bye-bye. Your last day is like end of the month, bye-bye. We're not renewing that contract. In doctor world, if you're nice and you get along well with people, the contracts are automatically renewed. It's automatically done because it's easier to keep you on board than to train a new physician to run the clinic. Now, if they don't renew his license, or I mean his contract, that is a red flag that, dude, we just don't like you. You need to go. We won't fire you because you do the work, but we don't like you as a person. So we're not going to sign that dotted line and renew your contract for another 2 years. Red flag. Okay. So that is something that a lot of people don't know. And so we look back in hindsight, it's like, oh, yeah, my friend should have looked at that as a red flag. But I think, like I said, what finally ultimately dissolved the relationship was the black and white PR report. That changed her mind. She realized, ooh, I can't be with someone. And she was actually against guns. She doesn't believe in guns. And the fact that he did this really put her off. And she, right before that, she was like, I love him. I love him. He's perfect. He's so nice to me. All right. But, he pushed you in the restaurant. Yeah, but he didn't mean that. He loves me so much. And when I showed her the report, oh, he had a gun? It wasn't registered? It was loaded? Oh, my God. Yeah, that's what did it for her. That was her deal breaker. And I think at that point, she just came to her senses and said, you know what? No way. There's too many problems in this relationship. And then she started to realize, like, the work relationships, the pushing, the yelling, the whole virginity fight. My goodness. I mean, it was like getting ridiculous. He even had a problem with her because he discovered that she had a boob job. Dun, dun, dun. What? Okay, I don't know about you guys, but in Orange County, most women have a boob job. Nothing wrong with that. It's a cosmetic procedure, it's safe, and it helps your body image. Okay, I'm fine with it. Well, she had one done a long time ago for her own personal reasons. He discovered it and gave her a lot of hell for it, for not being pure as a Virgin Mary, for being, selfish and conceited, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous because she did it for herself years before she met him. So when she told me that story, I was like, dude, you got to drop him like a bat, because he is mad at you for something you did 10 years ago, and it was for yourself. It wasn't for him. So we're going to remove them. She wasn't going to remove them. She loved them. So I think that all the ladies out there who are listening to this podcast and thinking, looking at their chest and looking at this guy, yeah, you would do the exact same thing. You would dump the loser. You would dump him because he has expectations that are way, way too high and unrealistic. If you want someone pure, I'm sure he'll find someone, but it's not going to be my friend. So I think that we're going to wrap up our 3 steps, our 3 tips. Remember, when you're ready to date seriously, meaning that you're ready to date smarter, that you have a criterion, that you're ready to find that long-term relationship that may ultimately lead into marriage. You want to meet people through your friends and family and close work colleagues. Oh, I might add as well, do not date at work. Do not date your colleague at work. That's always a bad combination, because if you guys break up, then you're totally awkward for the whole time you're there. So try to avoid romantic work relationships if you can. Okay, so try to meet people through your close tier of friends and family and colleagues. That's 1. Number 2, do simple homework. Look up people on Google, LinkedIn, social media. So easy, and it's free, and it barely takes a minute to do a quick search of your potential date. If you really want to be serious, go ahead and hire PI. Trust me, that $150 will pay back in itself if you meet the right guy, or you potentially end up dating the wrong guy, right? So this is a good way to protect your assets, protect your mental health, is to hire PI and get that report. You could do it yourself too, if you have the time and energy to look up all of the, credit bureaus and courts and all the places where they lived. Yeah, you could do that. I don't have time personally, so it's a lot easier to hire a PI. They'll do it for you for less than $150. And finally, number 3 is to meet their friends, become their best friend, get to know them, ask about the stories between you and your date. Ask them what it's like being with them, any funny stories you want to share. The more you know, the better. And it creates a picture of that guy that you are thinking about dating or is dating. So I hope I have inspired you and blew your mind in some way so that when you are ready to date, because you can, uh, look for some, because you're ready to look for someone serious in your life, do it. Do it. Have a great time. Enjoy yourself. But now you know how to find that person and how to pick them, right? Well, that's a wrap. You'll find our links in the show notes. You can find me on LinkedIn/Guiltless Girl. That's my code name, Guiltless Girl, because I am the owner of Guiltless Treats. I have lots of experience in management and dating. Take care.